Hey guys, so first of all, it took me like a century to set up this camera, this whole tripod situation, so I really hope someone watches this besides Michelle, who's co-founder of Core, and my mom. That would be really great. If not, it's cool, it's just a special video for them that took forever to make. So that being said, second week of apprenticeship. We've had 2 intensive weekends already, so our beginner intensive weekends are done. The first weekend was a lot. It was just a lot of information at once of what we were going to have to do for the next 6 months, and we were all kind of like, why are we doing this, and how are we going to do this, and what are we doing? I think a lot of people think like, oh, you're going to get certified to like teach fitness. That can't be that hard. That can't take that long. And I mean, I can only speak for Pilates, but I can tell you that it is hard. And it takes a lot of dedication and commitment and work and brain power. There's so much to know, not only about the body, which we haven't even gotten there yet, so that's going to be a doozy, but just about the work. There's so much to learn, and I felt like I came in with a pretty strong foundation, having done the mat course and having done a lot of mat work in my life. But I haven't done as much work on the equipment, on the reformer and Cadillac and the chair and the tower, all that stuff. Like, who even knew that there were all those things, right? I was like, oh, reformer, great. No, there's like a lot of things. So the first weekend when we got on the reformer, and I was just like, I mean, I've been on the reformer, but I don't know the reformer. Like, I don't know. There's all these things you do. Like, you change the springs and you do this and that and the other thing. And I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. I almost broke the reformer, actually, the first night. Sarah was really happy about that. It was like 8 o'clock at night on the first night, and we were working on turning the reformers into mats, and I, like, basically took the whole reformer off the track because that's how strong I am, you guys. No, because it was too late at night, and I just couldn't deal with operating machinery at that time, or operating equipment at that time. Anyways, I'm really glad I just told everybody that. I should have probably not shared that. I was hoping that would just fade away and everyone would forget about it, but now they won't, because here it is on the video, so there you go. Anyways, so the first weekend was a lot, but then, throughout the first week of apprenticeship being in the studio, getting more used to the work, it's better. I mean, I started feeling more confident, and by the second weekend, which just happened this past weekend, was a lot of information too, but it felt a lot less overwhelming than the first weekend, and I think most of us felt that way. We felt like, okay, we have kind of a foundation now, and this is just kind of building on the foundation. It wasn't like, blah, here's everything Pilates at one time, and we're like, oh my god, it's too much. It's actually kind of surprised me in a great way that I, by the end of last week, knew a lot more than I thought I did. I mean, the first beginner weekend, I couldn't really talk through the exercises on the reformer. I was having trouble teaching. I mean, literally, we just learned them like that minute, and then we were trying to teach them to each other. So, some like self-forgiveness is allowed there, I guess. But after a week of, letting it marinate, and I would study while I was in the studio, and also just watching people in the studio, watching instructors work, I surprised myself by like Friday of last week, I could actually talk through, I could give a reformer class. Like I could talk through it to myself, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. I'm not sure how that happened. But I think it just takes time for your brain. Brains need time sometimes to digest large amounts of information, especially when it's new information. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say. It's been really great being in the studio. I really like going there. I go almost every day, like three to 4 days a week. It's great. It's really helpful to watch the instructors work, and this week we get to start working ourselves out on the reformer. So last week we were just doing observation, watching the teachers, and this week we can actually get on the equipment when there's free space, and I think that will be really helpful. I took a couple semi-privates last week, and even just that, I mean, not just that, but that was really helpful for me to just work on the equipment and feel it in my own body, so that way I could say, oh, it makes sense that after, that after knee stretches, which are terrible, you go into running because that feels better, you know, things like that. Knee stretches aren't terrible, guys. They're really good for you. I hate knee stretches. I hate them because I'm bad at them. That's a thing that I do. I don't like things I'm not good at. Oops. Yeah, I feel like this vlog is getting really long, so I'm gonna stop talking, and you will hear plenty more from me over the next few months. I'm going to the studio in, let's see, oh, I have to leave in like 10 minutes. Great, so I can go to Kristen's Express mat class. Okay, bye guys, more later.